Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone here. I'm Derek Sims, Chairman of the Board for the Roxbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Turn it up. Is it on? Just needs to be turned up. Who's going to turn it up? Hold it. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right, let's start over. Okay, as I said earlier, good morning and welcome to the Good Morning Breakfast Hour. My name is Derek Sims, Chairman of the Roxbury Area Chamber of Commerce. Really happy to see everyone here. Today's breakfast is being sponsored by Person County Public Library. We appreciate them hosting this meeting. We look forward to the message that they'll be sharing with us this morning. Before we get started with that, what I'd like to do is recognize some of our elected officials that are present today. We also have some candidates that are running for offices as well. If I do, at the end of this, if I miss anybody, please let us know, but we try to make sure we get everyone here that's here. So with county commissioners, we have Jimmy Clayton, Chairman of the Board, back over there, Jimmy. We have Ray Jeffers, Vice Chairman. He's also running for NC House over there. Kyle Purrier, he is the county commissioner, and he is running for re-election as well, wherever Kyle's at. Kyle, back over there in that corner. And then we have Francis Blaylock, who is county commissioner. Thank you. From the city council, we have Mark Phillips, and Mark's around here somewhere. I saw him back over here. Okay. We also have Sheriff Dewey Jones. And Sheriff Dewey Jones, you're running for re-election as well, is that correct? Yes, sir. Yes. And Register of Deeds, Amanda Garrett. There's Amanda. And Board of Education, Gordon Powell. All right, Gordon's back there. And candidates that are running for county commissioner, we have Donald Long. There's Donald. And we also have for NC House, candidate running for NC House, Larry Yarborough. There's Larry. And then we also have running for county commissioner, Jason Torrain. And Jason is over here. Okay, did I miss anybody? Great. All right, well, I appreciate everyone coming out. And now I will let Alicia we have a few announcements that she wants to make for the chamber. So. Guess you're going to have to hold the mic. All right, there you go.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Just a couple of quick notes. There are some flyers sitting at your tables. In case you haven't heard, this Saturday is casino night, and we would love for you to join us. We do have tickets here with us this morning. If you haven't purchased yours yet, and this is a good opportunity, just come find me after. We'll get you squared away. But as I said, it's this Saturday, 6:30 p.m. It's going to take place at the gallery at VIR. And tickets, I said, is $50. It includes $1,000 of play money, dinner, or heavy hors d'oeuvres provided by Brooklyn Eats. And we're going to have music and silent auction and some great prizes, so we hope you'll come out and join us. And then you'll also see a flyer for our Business After Hours / bingo that is presented by Joe Weinberger. That is November 13th, so please make sure to mark your schedule for that. And we would love to have you join us at the Country Club on November 13th. That is all I had to share this morning, so thank you for being here and enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Alicia. And again, the events she's talking about, fundraisers for the chamber, they are really fun events, and hopefully you can make that. So keep them on your calendar. At this time, I would like to invite Kale Shepard. She's the North Carolina State Librarian, and she's coming here to speak with us this morning. So, Kale.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning. I'm really pleased to be with you. I bring you greetings from the Secretary of the Department of Cultural Resources, Susan Klutz. That is where the State Library of North Carolina is located in state government. And we help public libraries statewide do what they do better. And your very able public library director, Christy Bondi, asked me to come today and speak to you about the value of public libraries. I am a public librarian. I got my master's degree at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and my very first library job, paying library job, was in Murphy, North Carolina. So I've come to the big city here today. So a few years ago, I heard a story on the radio that really stuck with me because it had to do with libraries, and I wanted to share that with you today. A grown woman, was recounting her growing up years as the child of migrant workers who traveled the country, moving from farm to farm, picking produce. They traveled light, they traveled often, and schooling was intermittent for this young child. One day at the farm, she noticed a bus that had pulled up, and she was intrigued, but she wasn't sure what it was. But as she approached, she noticed that it was filled with books and people were going in and out. And as she got a little closer, she saw one book that had a volcano on the cover, and the volcano was spewing lava. She was riveted by this picture. She didn't know much about volcanoes, but the picture was very dramatic. So she was standing there just staring at the cover of this book when a nice lady came by, picked up the book, and put it into her hands, saying, "Do you like volcanoes?" The little girl admitted that, the woman telling the story admitted that she really didn't care about volcanoes, but she just really did like that picture. So the little girl was absolutely amazed when the nice lady said, "Why don't you take this book home and read it this week, and you can bring it back next week?" She was amazed that this adult trusted her enough to let her carry a book home. She took it home, read the book over and over again, and took it back the next week, where she checked out another book, and then another, and then another. And so she was introduced to the library. The little girl became a voracious reader. She became an A student. She grew up to be the first person in her family to graduate from high school. And then she went on to college, and she graduated from college. She credits that librarian with changing her life by introducing her to reading. She went on to become a librarian herself. You can see why this story gets to me. And now she is the one who's putting those books into the hands of children. Every public librarian you will ever meet has a story like that, if you just ask them about how the library has changed someone's life. As you can imagine, measuring those stories is kind of hard to do. But what I'd like to share with you this morning is some of the things that we can measure in libraries. Libraries offer a lot of services for those of you who are regular library users. But today I want to just focus on two areas. One of those is literacy and lifelong learning, and the other is economic development. And coincidentally, those correspond to a couple of goals in the Person County Strategic Plan. So public libraries are important partners when it comes to literacy and lifelong learning. Kids will learn how to read in school, but often they come to associate reading with work and not with pleasure. In school, sometimes they have to read a piece and then they're tested on it. That can turn them off, and as a result, they might lose their desire to read. And it's that desire, the curiosity and the interest, like the little girl had for the volcano, that is the cornerstone of using reading and related skills successfully. Knowing how to read underlies all of the learning that we do all our lives. If kids can't read, they can't learn. Libraries promote literacy and lifelong learning by teaching children to love to read. We have a very simple formula for this, and it's foolproof. First, we read aloud to children. So we get them hooked on the story or the picture if necessary. And we do this on purpose. Secondly, we encourage children then to read the books that they want to read. If you're going to enjoy reading, then it can't be work. And that means reading something that you want to read. I don't read Tolstoy all the time, ever, actually, I don't think. This is why every library on the face of the planet is going to have a big collection of books about trucks. We got a lot of dinosaur books, books about princesses, joke books. We've got the kind of books that children want to read, and we encourage them to check out any book that they're interested in at any reading level. Sometimes I like to sit back and just read a potboiler mystery. Kids should have the same right, especially struggling readers, the ones that are really having a hard time. Let them check out something that's easy for them to read and get them hooked, and then their reading skills will improve. I used to have a story time when I worked in Murphy. I traveled 3 counties, Cherokee, Clay, and Graham counties. And I would do a story time every week in Andrews, North Carolina, which is also in Cherokee County, as is Murphy. And a local daycare center would bring their kids every week, and after story time, they would check out a book. This boy that came every week checked out the same book every week. I'll never forget it. It was a book called The Judge. He would return it, and the library ladies would quickly check it in. If they couldn't check in anything else, they would check in The Judge, so it would be ready for this little boy to check out again after story time. I have no idea why he was so fascinated with that book, but he was. And the issue here is that the library allowed him to virtually own this book for about 9 months. Nobody else could ever check it out because it was always checked out to him. So that's how you grow a reader, is letting children choose the books that they want to read. And public libraries in North Carolina are doing a fantastic job of growing readers. Every summer, they sponsor summer reading to keep children's minds active while they're out of school. Did you know that kids who don't read during the summer can actually lose reading ability? Research shows that non-readers over the summer months can go back to school up to 3 grades below where they were when they left school in the spring. Libraries help prevent that summer slide. Children who read over the summer can actually gain reading skills. Last year, over 150,000 children statewide in North Carolina joined summer reading programs in their libraries, and together they read over 6 million books. I find that astounding. These children who participate in their summer reading programs at the libraries go back to school in the fall ready to learn. They are not going to be playing catch up for the first 2 or 3 months of every school year to get back to where they were. Aside from literacy and lifelong learning, public libraries are also effective community partners for economic recovery. Based on new state statistics as part of a national report, we librarians love our statistics, demand for computers in public libraries continues to increase, reflecting the critical role that libraries play as technology partners for digital literacy and local economic development. Public libraries have taken on the role as the provider of free public access to the internet and computers for those who are not able to gain access elsewhere for whatever reason. We provide not only computers, but also staff at the library who are trained to help people learn how to use those computers. Large numbers of people are using libraries' computers in North Carolina, and it's not at all uncommon to see a line of people waiting outside the front door of the library before it opens in the morning, waiting to get in the door. In 70% of North Carolina communities, the public library is the only source of free internet access. Libraries are reporting increased use of their computers, and 74% of libraries are seeing increased use of their Wi-Fi by people who are bringing their own devices into the library. Another common sight that you can see in North Carolina libraries is after the library is closed, there will be cars in the parking lot, people using the Wi-Fi signal. The library's technology resources can meet a wide range of needs among our users. So we serve students and lifelong learners who are working on school projects. Explosive growth in e-readers is bringing brand new patrons into libraries, some for the first time, who want to learn how to use those e-readers and check out the free e-books that we offer. As more government agencies provide information exclusively online, for many people, the library provides their only access to unemployment, healthcare, and tax information. Entrepreneurs increasingly use the library as their home office and ask for resources on starting and running a small business. Just last month at the 2014 Triad Business and Innovation Expo in Winston-Salem, the library's booth attracted a lot of business owners. As the librarian at the booth said, the library has never been more exciting as a place to get the big data that those businesses need to make decisions. As I've already told you, we love our data. We'll provide it to you too. Job seekers use the library resources and expertise to create resumes, access job listings, and complete online job applications. Which brings us to workforce development, because this is a particular strength of libraries in North Carolina. These days, some people who lose their jobs have never used a computer in their lives. They don't have email addresses. They don't have a computer at home. They may have worked in the same job for 20 or 30 years, and they fully expected to retire from that job. And then suddenly, they find themselves looking for another job. And every job these days requires an online application. Where can they go? Across the state, public libraries contribute to workforce development by providing employment resources, one-on-one instruction, online job application assistance, classes on job skills, employment listings. We teach people how to get an email address, how to write an email. We start with somebody who has nothing, and we bring them up to speed on getting a job. The state library partners at the state level with the Department of Commerce to help public libraries with their workforce information and training. And our statewide program has been so successful that it actually became a national model that's been copied by other states. We have an online job search toolkit that contains internet resources, ebooks, programming information, and other resources to help communities get back to work. And this is paying off. In spring of this year, the state library asked public libraries to deploy a survey to their users. And it was a computer survey asking people, why are you using the library computer today? About 6,000 people, you didn't have to take it, they could say, no, I'm not gonna do it, but about 6,000 users during the 2 to 4 week period took the survey. 42% of those 6,000 people said that they used the library computers for employment or career purposes. 26% used the library computers to search for jobs. 20% used the library computers to apply for jobs. And of those who had applied for jobs and had heard back, 43% of those people had actually been granted an interview. But here's the biggie. 344 people of those 6,000 said that they had been hired for a job that they had applied for using the library's computers. 344. And that's a fraction of the people using the computers in our state. If we had a statewide survey, I don't know what that number would be. So, public libraries are valuable community partners, and they are always looking for ways to form partnerships that will allow them to better serve their communities. The number of local partnerships formed by public libraries in North Carolina continues to go up. Just this year, public libraries in North Carolina entered into about 3,500 partnerships. And that works out to about 45 partnerships per library. Wow. So finally, what is the value of libraries? They create social connections. Children come to the library to interact with books, and they also interact with other children. We're a huge resource for homeschoolers. Parents make connections to other parents in story times and library programs and learn literacy activities that they can then use with their children at home. Libraries serve as the living room of the community. They're a nonpartisan gathering place, and everybody is welcome. Increasingly, they're also serving as the home office of the community for entrepreneurs and small business owners. Libraries are at the forefront of workforce development. They're open nights and weekends when one-stop centers may be closed. They help job seekers sign up for email accounts, write resumes, and apply for jobs. And as we've seen, they help people get jobs too. And libraries stop the summer slide for kids, reversing the trend of learning loss when children don't practice their reading skills over the summer. We give them a reason to read. I started my remarks with a story about how libraries change lives. I imagine some of you may have a story like that. But right now, what I'd like to do is introduce your library director, Christy Bondi, and she has her own story.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. And I do have a couple of Person County stories to share with you. You may have listened to Cal and said, these are wonderful North Carolina ones. What are some of our local stories? So here are a couple of ways your library has impacted folks here in Person County. This is a woman that I knew when I first started at Person County Library, and her name was Miss Murray, and some of you may know her. She was an older patron that we had, and she loved to come into the library. She talked loud, she was a sweet old woman, but she slowly started to lose her hearing. And eventually it became impossible for her to come into the library to get books. She still had a great desire to read, but her hearing loss, sorry, this one kind of touches me, but her hearing loss and trouble keeping track of time, it became impossible for her to get books back on time. One of our staff members who had kind of taken her under her wing and had always been near and dear to her was able to place some donated books set aside for Miss Murray, and her children would pick them up and give them to her on Saturdays. That made Miss Murray's life, and her granddaughter actually was cutting my hair one time, and I was talking about Miss Murray. I had no idea that I was talking to her grandchild, and she pulled out a picture of her, and she was like, I can't believe you're talking about my grandmother, and it made her so happy that you could provide this service for her. So we love to be able to do that for Miss Murray. Talking about the job force. One day we had an older gentleman that came into the library, and he was in desperate need to use one of our computers to fill out a job application. He was shown how to log on to the computers, but while we were showing him how to log on to the internet, he started to cry. He confessed because of budget cuts and his older age, he had lost his job. And with everything online now, he had no idea how to apply for a job. He did not want to be homeless, and he had mounting bills to pay. And our staff members were able to tell him that if he needed one-on-one help with computers, that we taught classes, and that we would give him one-on-one assistance. His reply was, "I can't afford it." We informed him that this was a service that we provided for free, and he was overjoyed. He signed up for several classes, got an email account, we helped him with his resume, helped him with some applications, and I'm happy to say that that gentleman got a job with his work experience and with our help, I think. So that was a great one. Some of these are like touching me this morning, you guys. And one of our crowning achievements that we started last year was a teen advisory board. Man, we have some active teens in this county, if you didn't know that. So this group is called TAB. And in February, we had about 8 TAB members who banded together at the library to make Valentines for our adult outreach patrons. Their act of kindness and beautifully created Valentines brightened over 20 patrons that were either homebound or in assisted living facilities. Many thanks were passed back to the TAB group from these patrons, and even in the winter weather, young helping older generations just warms the heart, doesn't it? So they're gonna be making some Christmas cards for our homebound individuals pretty soon. So I can't go through any more of those stories, or I'm gonna just break down crying. Now Carol Reed, our Friends of the Library president, is going to come up here and be my technical person because I couldn't get my wireless clicker. Just want to go over a little overview of the library. We just finished a strategic plan, and we had some great individuals that are here today that were on that steering committee. And we came up with the terminology that the Person County Public Library is the go-to place. So I want to tell you why we think we're the go-to place. So first, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a brief overview. Okay, Carol, you can hit the enter button. The founding of the library, the Roxborough Women's Club founded the library in 1936 in the basement of their clubhouse in which meetings were held. In May of 1941, interested citizens rallied together to support the library. Now I want to talk about your return on investment. The tax dollars spent on Person County Public Library is $9.78 per capita. How far will $9.78 get you? Can you get an extra large pizza with all the toppings? Yeah, you may be able to get it one time with all the wheels and deals that Domino's and Papa John's offers, but how many times are you going to get that pizza a year? We're open 300 days a year. Can you go to the movies? I don't know the last time you've been to the movies. You might get your matinee ticket and you might be able to get a drink, but you're going to leave your friends home or you're going to not have the drink. Okay, Carol. And finally, how far will $9.78 get you in your car? Maybe far for Sybil because you got a Prius. Maybe not for the rest of us. Okay. All right. Now, what does your investment of $9.78 get you at the Person County Public Library? Well, it gets you a fabulous collection. It starts with around 57,139 books. From there, we've got close to 1,700 audiobooks, close to 1,400 DVDs, 501 music CDs, 400 microfilm reels, 105 magazine subscriptions, 5 newspaper subscriptions, 12 computers available for access, and AncestryLibrary.com. This is just some of the stuff that I can think of off the top of my head. Next, if you can't always make it to the library, we have great online resources that are available 24/7, and only are a click away, including Pronunciator, where you can learn up to 80 different languages. Overdrive, a collection of over 10,000 ebooks. One Click Digital, a collection of over 3,500 downloadable audiobooks. A very popular one, Tumble Books. It's a great collection of ebooks for kids. Book News, where you can receive alerts of new materials added to the library. And NC Live, free access to online magazines, newspapers, journals, and much, much more. And they just started a homegrown collection. It's a pilot program that they have. I'm correct with that, Cal. It's ebooks that are written by North Carolina authors or stories about North Carolina. That's great, so you guys should check that out. Next we have outreach services. We have a van. We have a great outreach coordinator that goes out and provides services. And these services that she provides them to schools, daycares, assisted living facilities, and homebound individuals. And she's the one that took out the Valentines to the different folks. Next, we have library programs that are fun and educational for all. Last year, we presented 309 programs with an audience of 6,000. And programs encourage learning for life and lifelong learning. And one of those pictures was the tab group making the Valentines. Next, we have some famous library lovers. So I'm going to give you the quote, and then I'm going to let you guess who it is. A couple of you have seen this presentation, so no cheating from you. The first person was, I cannot live without books. He was a president. Any takers? Here with Lincoln, that's a good guess, but it was our third president that lived just a couple of hours away, and that would be Thomas Jefferson. There's a little picture of old Tommy J. Next one is a classic actress that just passed away. Real classy lady, and her quote was, "What in the world would we do without libraries?" I have to agree with her. Any guesses on who that was? It wasn't Joan Rivers. Yeah. All right, that would be the great Katharine Hepburn. Okay, and our next quote is from a very popular figure who has started her own book club. So this one's an easy hint. Anybody got an idea who started their own book club? Bingo, good job, you guys. Oprah. And hers was getting my library card was like a citizenship. It was like an American citizenship. And my last quote is, the only thing you absolutely have to know is the location of the library. And this person was a genius that said this. And it wasn't me. Even though I agree with that. Any guesses? Albert Einstein. So for this summer, we went around and kind of polled some people in the library and asked them, why is the library important to you? And I hope this video comes out and you all can hear it in the back, because it's great. And I don't know what happened to it. Well, we want to know why the library is important to you. I'm not sure what happened with our video, but a lot of people had a lot of great things to say about why the library was important to us. Some of them gave kudos to the staff, and I do have a great and knowledgeable staff. I'm not really sure what happened to our video. I apologize. Technology is sometimes like that. But we had every walk of life come in, from the youngest kid to some of our elderly patrons that all had something to say why the library was important to them. It could have been books, it was story time, it was staff resources, it was online resources. So we want to know why the library is important to you all. And thank you so much. I do have a small packet. We do have some Heiko magazines. Norwood Norwood Walker wrote a great article that's in here about the library, so I have some copies available up here at the front. We do have our book sale coming up October 16th through the 18th, so we do hope that you will all come and grab some great books, and we're having a hot dog sale. Yes, and Thursday the 16th is Friends members only, but we are going to have a humongous sale this time, so we are going to do a special deal of $5 a box for Friends members. I do have Friends of the Library envelopes with me too, if you're interested in joining and coming to the book sale early. So thank you everyone for coming this morning and giving us an opportunity to talk about the library.
Okay. Thank you, Cal and Christy, for speaking to us this morning and educating us on all the resources the public library offers Person County residents. And I think we all in this room realize, especially after this presentation, how important the public library is to us. So thank you for that. In regards to our next coffee hour, it will be November 12th